Antoine Dominique Domino Jr., known as Fats Domino, was an American singer, songwriter and pianist. As one of the pioneers of rock and roll music, Domino sold over 65 million records. Born on February 26, 1928, in New Orleans to a French Creole family, Domino signed with Imperial Records in 1949. His first single, The Fat Man, is considered one of the first rock and roll records and sold over 1 million copies. Between 1955 and 1960, he had 11 songs in the U.S. Top 10 pop chart. In 1955, 5 of his records sold more than 1 million copies each and were certified gold. Domino was a shy and humble person but made a significant contribution to rock and roll. Elvis Presley stated that Domino had a huge influence on him and called him the real king of rock and roll. The Beatles were also greatly influenced by Domino. 4 of Domino's recordings are in the Grammy Hall of Fame: Blueberry Hill, Ain't That a Shame, Walking to New Orleans, and The Fat Man. He was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 1986 as part of the inaugural group. The Associated Press estimated that during his career, Domino sold over 110 million records. At the age of 14, Domino performed in New Orleans bars. In 1947, band leader Billy Diamond heard Domino play at a backyard barbecue and invited him to join his band, the Solid Senders, at the Hideaway Club for $3 a week. Diamond nicknamed him Fats because Domino reminded him of pianists Fats Waller and Fats Pichon, and also because of his big appetite. Domino signed with Imperial Records in 1949 with its owner, Lou Chudd, earning royalties based on sales. Along with producer Dave Bartholomew, he wrote The Fat Man, a toned-down version of a song about a drug addict called Junker Blues. This record sold 1 million copies by 1951 and is considered the first rock and roll record to reach this level of sales. On November 2, 1956, a riot broke out at Domino's concert in Fayetteville, North Carolina. Police used tear gas to disperse the crowd. Domino jumped out a window to avoid the fight. He and 2 band members were slightly injured. According to his biographer Rick Coleman, there were 4 major riots at his concerts during his career, partly due to racial integration and partly because the audience often drank alcohol at the events. In August 1957, he was banned from performing at Griffith Stadium in Washington, D.C. due to security concerns. Domino toured Europe in 1962 and met the Beatles, who later cited him as one of their inspirations. Domino lived in a large house in the working-class neighborhood of the Lower Ninth Ward, where he was known for his bright pink Cadillac. Fats Domino was one of the first 9 musicians to be inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 1986. He also received a Grammy Lifetime Achievement Award in 1987. His last tour was in Europe for 3 weeks in 1995. After falling ill during the tour, Domino decided not to leave New Orleans anymore, as he had a comfortable income from royalties and disliked touring. He admitted that he couldn't get the food he liked anywhere else. When Hurricane Katrina approached New Orleans in August 2005, Fats Domino chose to stay at home with his family, primarily due to his wife Rosemary's poor health condition. Their home was flooded and damaged by the massive flood, with someone spray painting the message, "Rest in peace Fats, you will be missed." Despite being reported dead, Fats Domino and his family were eventually rescued by Coast Guard helicopters and taken to a shelter in Baton Rouge. In 2006, Fats Domino was scheduled to perform at the Jazz and Heritage Festival in New Orleans. However, due to experiencing anxiety, he had to cancel the show. Nevertheless, he appeared on stage to greet the audience. In the same year, the album Domino Alive and Kickin' was released to support the Tipitinas Foundation, which assists local struggling musicians in New Orleans and preserves the city's musical heritage. The album consists of previously unreleased recordings from the 1990s and received high praise from critics. On May 19, 2007, Fats Domino returned to the stage at Tipitinas in New Orleans to a full audience. This marked his final public performance. The concert was recorded for the 2008 TV program titled Fats Domino, Walkin' Back to New Orleans. As a charity concert, various artists also performed, and Domino donated his fee for the cause. Domino, one of the biggest rock and roll stars of the 1950s, wasn't sure that this genre was something new. In 1957, he stated, "What they call rock and roll now is rhythm and blues. I've been playing it for 15 years in New Orleans." According to Rolling Stone, this is a valid statement. All the rockers of the 50s, both black and white, rural and urban, were basically influenced by R&B, the popular black music of the late 40s and early 50s. Domino was one of the first R&B artists to gain popularity among white audiences. Fats Domino was married to Rosemary Domino from 1947 until his death in 2008. They had 8 children. Despite his success, he continued to live in his old neighborhood, the Lower Ninth Ward, even after Hurricane Katrina, before eventually moving to the outskirts of New Orleans. Fats Domino, despite being one of the greatest stars in the history of rock and roll music, remained a humble person. Despite his successful career and numerous awards, he always showed humility in his interactions with fans and fellow musicians. Domino often emphasized the importance of being grateful for his success and never forgetting his roots.